dust has barely settled on what ultimately was a very drab Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Was it really that drab, I hear you ask? Well, yeah. Because in the previous 3 years, there have been 27, 32 and 36 overtakes. This year's Grand Prix saw a record low of 25 only. 25. So no wonder F1 fans are turning off en masse. And that's to say that once again, the juiciest plot lines are no longer going on track. They're off track, courtesy of one Ollie Bearmann, who apparently with that drive that saw him take home 6 championship points with a 7th place in his maiden drive in the Scuderia Ferrari car, may have secured himself K-Mag seat in the Haas for next year. Now, Haas team principal Ayo Komatsu has already said that he was looking at this fella. FP1 Mexico last year, the fella tracked very close, within 2/10 of one Nico Hülkenberg. Oh, indeed, there is a growing body of evidence, a groundswell of public opinion that Ollie Bearmann needs to be in F1. And as if Ollie Bearmann's weekend wasn't special enough, to boot, pre-race, he'd received a call from one 4-time champion, the German chap, Sebastian Vettel. But Lewis Hamilton will see you that Sebastian Vettel and raise you this, giving Ollie Bearmann a very cheeky wave of acknowledgement on the procession lap during the Grand Prix. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton could then be seen waiting for Ollie Bearmann to dismount his cockpit to give him a further handshake of acknowledgement. Fair play, Lewis. And in other F1 related news, the FIA continues to, well, FIA? Because despite the whole world seeing Lando's full start in real time, the FIA said that their transponder didn't flag it. Nor apparently did they feel that Lando's double weave on the straights was worthy of anything more than a black and white flag. Oh, the humanity. And Carlos Sainz's family was seen leaving Saudi Arabia with one Toto Wolff. Whatever could they be talking about? Might Carlos Sainz be angling for that Mercedes seat? Well, after Mercedes' dismal performance at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where they're now talking about more fundamental issues in their pace, I'm not sure Carlos Sainz wants any of that. Because Toto Wolff was quoted as saying, "We measure downforce, but we don't see that in lap time." Toto confesses that this smacks of errors in their simulation tools back at the factory. Oh dear. And this, of course, is a cause of concern for the drivers. Hamilton adding he feels like they should have made bigger changes. So the crux of Mercedes' issues this weekend past were the high speed sections. They just didn't have the downforce. And that's borne out with a compare and contrast with Lando Norris's McLaren, who, by the way, had a super slow maximal velocity of 322. In stark contrast, Mercedes threw the speed trap anywhere up to 330. And this means then that they've got a serious issue. Lewis complained that he couldn't overtake the McLarens because he couldn't keep with them in Sector 1. Sector 2, he had the pace, but by the time of Sector 2, he wasn't close enough. So for Mercedes then, Bahrain flattered to deceive. They had to lift and coast, cooling issues. Saudi Arabia revealed some deeper seated, more insidious underlying issues with their car. So I don't know how Toto is going to attract anyone to that seat, let alone one Max Verstappen, for whom this weekend was a record-setting landmark weekend. He's won 19 of the last 20 Grand Prix. He's led the championship for 29.8% of all the races he's ever competed in. That's more than Ayrton Senna. And with Max recording 2 consecutive victories from 2 starts, he'll be eyeing the records of Nigel Mansell and Michael Schumacher, both of whom started seasons with 5 victories in 92 and 2004 respectively. Saudi Arabia is Max Verstappen's 100th podium from 188 starts. Quite the record. But when presented with this information, Max Verstappen said, well, that's 88 podiums that I missed. And testament to this fella's unwavering dedication, 3 a.m, the morning of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, what was he doing? He was online, sim racing. Why not? And when asked about these records, Max says he doesn't really pay attention to this stuff, that he still needs to improve. Bloody Nora. And per one George Russell, first of his name, in this business, the margins are super fine. So if you can get the best, you get him. 9 team principals then will be fighting for Max Verstappen's signature. Toto Wolff is no different. The Austrian was quoted this weekend saying of Verstappen that we'd love to have him, but we need to sort out our car first. Ultimately, continued Wolff, the ball is in Max Verstappen's court. I think this is a decision that Max needs to take. Wolff continued, there's no team on the grid currently that wouldn't do handstands to have Max Verstappen in their car. But with rumours to be believed to stand a chance of signing Max Verstappen, you first need to sign Helmut Marko. And Toto apparently says they have a place for him, that Helmut Marko could fill the shoes of his compatriot, the late great red cap wearing Niki Lauda. That Toto's talking in these terms tells you everything you need to know about the importance of getting that Max Verstappen signature. Marko responded saying that's very nice, but at the moment, thankfully, I can decline this offer. The operative words here being at the moment, because speculation this weekend was rife that Helmut Marko, consultant to Red Bull GmbH, could be suspended. And Marko's words only fanned those flames, saying theoretically that suspension is possible. But by race day, these salacious rumours surrounding Helmut Marko had subsided, as Oliver Mintzlaff, CEO of Red Bull Group in Austria Salzburg, had turned up to quell them. And if we're looking forward with a view to forecast where Max Verstappen might end up as soon as 2025, this is critical, because Max Verstappen has made it clear he wants the corporate structure of Red Bull Racing to stay as it is. If Marko leaves, says Verstappen, then I might do the same. This is chaos. Only for focus then to now shift back onto Christian Horner, if F1 insiders Ralph Back is to be believed. The F1 insider reports that so far in Helmut Marko's corner is Max Verstappen that he even rebooked his flight. Yeah, he was due to fly home with Christian and sacked that off to fly home with Helmut. That's bonkers. Nor was Max Verstappen too pleased at the added distraction of Christian Horner parading around his Spice Girl wife, Jerry Halliwell, yet again. And so the Horners are still talk of the paddock and not Max Verstappen's achievements on track. It's not a good look. The F1 Insider article continues that Oliver Mintzlaff and Mark Mateschitz, the Austrian leg of Red Bull Group, are more keen now than ever to see that Christian Horner resigns. And this as soon as the Australian Grand Prix. That's 2 weeks from now. And 3 things are driving this. First, there's an influential women's activist group in North America who since the affair have been calling for boycotts of Red Bull. Secondly, there's a concern from the Tayavidi family who own 51% of Red Bull that a complainant now having been named might go public. The legal proceedings could be around the corner. And thirdly, it's rumoured that U2 with connections to the complainant might make a song about this, with a view to force Red Bull's hand on the ultimate end of Christian Horner. The speculation around Marko was that he was responsible for the leak. Oliver Mintzlaff was keen to dismiss this, making it crystal clear that Marko hadn't been involved in any illicit behaviour and would be continuing in his role. Marko too hit back, claiming this rumour was absolute rubbish, hinting that this was all a deliberate effort from someone to bring him down. Since then, however, a Red Bull Racing spokesperson has come out and denied these claims, positing that as Horner's reiterated, he has the full support of the shareholders and that remains the case. Reiterating that as Christian has said, he has the full support of the shareholders and hopes that remains the case. Horner, when asked to comment on the Helmut Marko situation, said that Helmut Marko is a contractor of Red Bull GmbH. That has nothing to do with us. We weren't party to or part of that discussion. There Horner goes with those political rebuttals. But the eagle-eyed amongst you will have heard Christian Horner do in his interview with Sky Sports F1. His tone, no, his intonation was telling. Indeed, Christian was trivialising the importance of any one team member, Max Verstappen included. Very much like his comments around Adrian Newey, that the team underneath him are just as responsible for the success of the RB20 design philosophy. Max is an important member of our team. He's our driver, Christian said. Max Verstappen, our driver, is a bit more than that, Christian. Quite deliberately then diminishing, no trivialising Max Verstappen's importance before the world's press and media. How do you think that's going to go down? And that Red Bull Racing statement, come to think of it, feels like a vote of confidence. You know what they give to football managers just before they get rid? Oh, all is not well at the Bulls that are red.